Have you ever wondered what it feels like to be completely alone, protecting the ones you love most while your own strength fades away? On a cold October morning in Portland, Oregon, this was the reality for a small calico cat, her fur matted and dirty, as she huddled against the metal frame of a bus stop, desperately trying to keep her 4 tiny kittens warm. The world around her buzzed with morning commuters, but none seemed to notice the silent struggle for survival happening right at their feet. This is a story that will remind us all of the incredible power of motherly love and how one simple act of kindness can change multiple lives forever. The morning air was crisp and biting, carrying with it the promise of an early winter. Sarah Martinez, a 32-year-old nurse, was running late for her shift at Providence Portland Medical Center. She had taken this route hundreds of times before, but today would be different. As she approached her usual bus stop on 82nd Avenue, something caught her eye. A slight movement, almost imperceptible, coming from behind a discarded cardboard box. The universe, it seemed, had other plans for Sarah that morning. The calico cat, whom Sarah would later name Hope, had been a house cat once. Her collar still hung loosely around her neck, though any identifying tags were long gone. Her once beautiful coat, a patchwork of orange, black, and white, was now dull and matted. Despite her own deteriorating condition, she maintained a fierce determination, curling her body protectively around her 4 newborn kittens, who were barely a week old. Their tiny mews were barely audible over the sound of passing traffic. Sarah's medical training immediately kicked in as she assessed the situation. The mother cat was severely dehydrated, her ribs visible through her fur, yet she continued to nurse her kittens. Each time a human approached, she would tense up but wouldn't run away, choosing to stay and protect her babies instead of seeking safety for herself. This silent display of maternal devotion would soon touch hearts across the entire community. The bus stop, located in one of Portland's busier neighborhoods, was an unlikely place for this small family to end up. Empty food containers and a torn blanket nearby suggested someone had been feeding them, but it wasn't enough. The cardboard box they sheltered behind bore the marks of recent rain, slowly disintegrating and providing less protection with each passing day. Time was running out for this little family. "It's okay, sweet girl," Sarah whispered, kneeling down despite the morning rush around her. The calico's eyes, a brilliant amber color, met Sarah's with a mix of fear and desperation. In that moment, something passed between them, an understanding that transcended species. The mother cat seemed to sense that finally, after days of struggling, help had arrived. But the real challenge was just beginning. As Sarah moved closer, she could see the full extent of the situation. The kittens were tiny bundles of fur, 1 gray, 2 tabbies, and one that matched its mother's calico pattern. They were alive, but barely, their little bodies trembling from the cold despite their mother's best efforts. The smallest one, the calico kitten, seemed particularly weak, barely moving as its siblings squirmed and mewed. The morning commuters continued to stream past, most too caught up in their own routines to notice the unfolding drama. A few paused briefly, smartphones raised to capture the scene before hurrying on their way. But Sarah couldn't walk away, not from this. She knew that without immediate intervention, these kittens wouldn't survive another night on the street. Their mother, despite her incredible dedication, was running out of strength. Portland's weather forecast had predicted rain later that day. Heavy rain. The cardboard box was already soggy at the bottom, and Sarah knew that any additional moisture could be fatal for the tiny kittens. The mother cat watched intently as Sarah made a phone call, her amber eyes never leaving Sarah's face. Perhaps she understood that this human's actions in the next few moments would determine her family's fate. The decision Sarah made next would not only change her life, but would spark a chain of events that would touch countless others in the community. As she dialed the number for her supervisor at the hospital explaining why she wouldn't make it to her shift that morning, the mother cat let out a soft purr. The first sound Sarah had heard from her. It was as if she understood that finally, after days of fighting alone, help had arrived. A small crowd had begun to gather now, drawn by Sarah's gentle interactions with the cat family. Among them was Mr. Chen from the nearby convenience store, who revealed he'd been secretly leaving food for the cats but hadn't known how to help further. Each person who stopped had a different piece of the puzzle, a different perspective on how this little family had ended up here. The mother cat's story, as pieced together by neighbors, was heartbreaking. She had been seen being pushed out of a car several days ago, already heavily pregnant. Despite being abandoned, she had found this spot and given birth, demonstrating extraordinary resilience in the face of human cruelty. Her determination to keep her babies alive spoke to a depth of maternal love that crossed all species barriers. The smallest kitten, the calico one, began to make weak crying sounds, prompting its mother to shift position and try to warm it more effectively. Sarah could see that this tiny creature was fighting for its life, just as its mother had been fighting for all of them. The morning sun, now rising higher in the sky, cast a golden glow over the scene, highlighting the desperation of their situation. Time was critical now. Sarah knew that the next few hours would determine whether this family survived or became another tragic statistic. As she made more calls to local shelters, to her veterinarian friend, to anyone who might be able to help, the mother cat seemed to relax slightly, as if sensing that her long vigil might finally be coming to an end. But the real challenges, and the most remarkable part of their story, were still to come. Mr. Chen had returned from his store with a cardboard box lined with clean towels, a temporary solution but better than their current situation. As Sarah prepared to transfer the family to this new shelter, she noticed something that made her heart skip a beat. The mother cat's collar, barely visible under the matted fur, had a small charm that would later prove crucial to unraveling the mystery of their abandonment. The morning traffic had reached its peak now, with buses stopping and departing every few minutes. Each time the ground rumbled with an approaching vehicle, the mother cat would tense, pulling her kittens closer. Her instincts were still sharp, despite her exhaustion. She had survived this long by being vigilant, and she wasn't about to let her guard down, even with help so close at hand. As Sarah finally made contact with a local rescue organization, she learned something that would change everything. The shelter was full, operating beyond capacity due to kitten season. They could offer advice, but no immediate placement. In that moment, Sarah realized that if this family was going to survive, she would have to do something she had never considered before. Something that would challenge everything she thought she knew about herself. The sound of approaching rain could be heard in the distance, a steady drumming that grew louder with each passing moment. The mother cat's ears twitched at the sound, and her body tensed even further. She had survived thus far by finding this relatively sheltered spot, but her luck was about to run out. The decision Sarah would make in the next few moments would determine not just the fate of this small family, but would ripple out to affect an entire community. The mother cat, despite her obvious fear and exhaustion, showed remarkable trust as Sarah began to implement her plan. Perhaps it was instinct, or perhaps she truly understood that this was her family's last chance, but she remained calm as Sarah took the first steps toward their rescue. The rain was starting to fall now, light drops that would soon become a downpour. Time was running out, but hope was finally on the horizon. Their story was about to take an unexpected turn, one that would inspire hundreds and remind everyone who heard it about the extraordinary power of compassion. As Sarah prepared to take action, she had no way of knowing that this moment, this simple decision to stop and help, would spark a movement that would change not just these cats' lives, but the lives of countless other abandoned animals in Portland. Sarah's heart raced as she carefully lifted the cardboard box containing the cat family into her car. The mother cat, though clearly terrified, remained surprisingly calm, her amber eyes fixed on Sarah's movements. But as they pulled away from the bus stop, Sarah noticed something alarming. The smallest kitten, the calico one, had stopped moving entirely. The mother cat began to cry out, a sound that would haunt Sarah for months to come. Racing through Portland's morning traffic, Sarah called ahead to her friend Dr. Martinez at the Evergreen Veterinary Clinic. The situation was critical. The kitten's body temperature had dropped dangerously low, and its tiny frame felt limp in the mother cat's desperate attempts to warm it. Time seemed to move in slow motion as they navigated through the city streets, each red light feeling like an eternity. The mother cat's own condition was deteriorating rapidly now that she was finally letting her guard down. Her breathing had become labored, and Sarah could see that what she had initially thought was just matted fur actually concealed several infected wounds. The stress of protecting her kittens while injured and malnourished had taken a devastating toll on her body. Yet still, she focused all her energy on her struggling babies. At the clinic, the true extent of their situation became heartbreakingly clear. The mother cat was severely dehydrated, running a high fever from multiple infected bite wounds, and producing barely enough milk for her kittens. The smallest kitten was in critical condition, its tiny body fighting against hypothermia and malnutrition. Dr. Martinez's expression grew grave as she examined each member of the little family. Blood tests revealed an even more devastating reality. The mother cat was battling a severe infection that had spread throughout her body. Without immediate intensive treatment, she wouldn't survive long enough to care for her kittens. Yet separating her from them in their critical state could be equally devastating. The medical team faced an impossible choice that would determine the fate of this entire family. The smallest kitten's condition continued to deteriorate despite their best efforts. Its breathing grew increasingly shallow, and its heartbeat was barely detectable. The mother cat, even in her weakened state, refused to leave its side, continuously grooming and nuzzling the tiny creature as if willing it to fight. The other kittens mewed weakly, sensing their mother's distress. Sarah watched through tears as Dr. Martinez worked tirelessly to save the failing kitten. The mother cat's trust in them was absolute now, allowing the medical team to work around her as she maintained physical contact with her baby. The bond between them was palpable, a testament to the depth of maternal love that transcended species. Every minute felt like an hour as they fought to stabilize the tiny creature. The infection ravaging the mother cat's body was proving resistant to standard antibiotics. Her fever spiked dangerously high, yet she refused to rest, constantly checking on each of her kittens. The medical team was amazed by her determination. She was literally keeping herself alive through sheer willpower and maternal instinct. But how long could she continue this fight? Hours turned into days as the clinic staff worked around the clock to save the family. The mother cat's condition stabilized slightly with aggressive treatment, but she remained critically ill. The smallest kitten hovered between life and death, requiring round-the-clock care and monitoring. The other 3 kittens, while stronger, still faced an uncertain future as their mother's milk supply diminished. Sarah had been spending every free moment at the clinic, her own life put on hold as she helped care for the cats. She noticed something remarkable. Despite their dire situation, the mother cat would purr weakly whenever Sarah approached, as if thanking her for not giving up on them. This simple sound became a beacon of hope during their darkest moments. The turning point came on the 4th night, but not in the way anyone had hoped. The smallest kitten, despite everyone's desperate efforts, began to fade rapidly. The mother cat became increasingly agitated, her own vital signs growing erratic as she sensed her baby slipping away. The entire clinic staff watched helplessly as the tiny life flickered like a candle in the wind. News of the cat family's struggle had spread through social media, touching hearts across Portland. The clinic was flooded with donations and offers of help, but money couldn't solve their immediate crisis. The mother cat's infection had spread to her heart, and the smallest kitten was losing its fight for life. It seemed cruel that after surviving abandonment and exposure, they might still lose their battle. Dr. Martinez made the difficult decision to try an experimental treatment for the mother cat's infection. It was risky, but without it, she wouldn't survive the week. The timing couldn't have been worse, as the smallest kitten's condition required constant attention. Sarah volunteered to stay through the night, knowing these next few hours would likely determine the fate of both mother and baby. As midnight approached, the mother cat's fever reached a dangerous peak. Yet somehow, she maintained her vigil over her failing kitten, her body curved protectively around the tiny form. The other kittens had been temporarily moved to an incubator, but no amount of coaxing could separate this devoted mother from her weakest baby. Their struggle became a powerful symbol of unconditional love and determination. The night seemed endless as Sarah and the medical team fought to save both lives. The mother cat's heartbeat became increasingly irregular, a side effect of both the infection and the experimental treatment. The smallest kitten's breathing grew more labored with each passing hour. Everyone present knew they were witnessing something extraordinary, a mother's refusal to give up on her child, even as her own life hung by a thread. Outside the clinic, a small crowd of supporters had gathered, holding a candlelight vigil for the cat family. Local news crews arrived to cover the story, touched by the outpouring of community support. Inside, oblivious to the attention, the mother cat continued her desperate vigil, her purrs growing weaker but never ceasing as she nuzzled her failing kitten. Dawn approached, bringing with it a host of new challenges. The mother cat's temperature had finally begun to respond to treatment, but the strain on her heart was severe. The smallest kitten had made it through the night, defying all medical expectations, but remained critically weak. The bond between them seemed to be the only thing keeping either of them alive. Sarah noticed something remarkable during those long night hours. Whenever the kitten's vitals would start to drop, the mother cat would somehow sense it and begin grooming it more vigorously, as if physically willing her strength into her baby. The medical staff had never seen anything like it. This incredible display of maternal instinct and devotion would soon become legendary among veterinary circles. The mother cat's condition continued to deteriorate despite the experimental treatment. Her body was simply too weakened by days of fighting the infection while trying to care for her kittens. Yet her focus never wavered from her struggling baby. The choice that lay ahead would break hearts and challenge everything the medical team thought they knew about feline maternal bonds. Dr. Martinez gathered the team for an emergency consultation. The mother cat's heart was failing, and the smallest kitten was barely holding on. They had to make an impossible decision: continue trying to save them both, knowing it might mean losing them both, or focus their efforts on just one life. As they debated, the mother cat's purrs grew fainter, but her determination never wavered. As the medical team debated their next steps, something extraordinary happened. The clinic door burst open, and in rushed Dr. Emily Chen, a renowned veterinary cardiologist who had seen the story on the local news. She had driven through the night from Seattle, bringing with her an experimental treatment protocol that had saved critical cases like this before. Her arrival felt like divine intervention, a ray of hope in their darkest hour. The mother cat's charm bracelet, discovered during her initial examination, had finally yielded its secrets. A determined volunteer had tracked down its manufacturer and discovered it was part of a limited series sold only at one boutique pet store in Portland. This breakthrough would soon lead them to the truth about her abandonment, but more importantly, it provided crucial information about her medical history. Dr. Chen's examination revealed something everyone else had missed. The mother cat's heart condition was congenital, not just a result of her current infection. This discovery changed everything. The new treatment protocol could be specifically tailored to her unique condition. For the first time in days, the medical team felt a glimmer of real hope. The smallest kitten, perhaps sensing the shift in energy around it, suddenly began to show signs of improvement. Its tiny paw reached out to touch its mother's nose, a gesture so small yet so significant that it brought tears to everyone's eyes. The mother cat's purr, though still weak, grew slightly stronger. It was as if they were drawing strength from each other. Sarah's supervisor from the hospital arrived unexpectedly, not to reprimand her for missing shifts, but to offer help. She had mobilized the hospital's pediatric intensive care unit to provide specialized equipment that could be adapted for the tiny kitten. This collaboration between human and veterinary medicine would prove to be groundbreaking. Through social media, news of the mother cat's struggle had reached a specialist in feline neonatal care in Japan. She offered virtual consultations, guiding the team through innovative techniques to support both mother and kitten. The global outpouring of support and expertise was unprecedented, turning their small clinic into an international hub of veterinary collaboration. The mother cat's fever finally broke at sunrise on the 5th day. Her vital signs, while still weak, began to stabilize. The experimental treatment was working, slowly but surely. Dr. Chen's expertise had arrived just in time. But the real miracle was happening with the smallest kitten. It had begun to nurse again, its survival instinct matching its mother's determination. Community support continued to grow exponentially. Local businesses organized fundraisers, schools held penny drives, and artists created works inspired by the mother cat's devotion. The story touched something deep in people's hearts, reminding them of the universal power of a mother's love. This groundswell of support would soon make possible what had seemed impossible just days before. A breakthrough came when Dr. Chen discovered that the mother cat's specific heart condition responded exceptionally well to a combination of Eastern and Western medicine approaches. A local expert in veterinary acupuncture joined the team, and the results were immediate and dramatic. The mother cat's heart rhythm began to stabilize in ways conventional treatment alone hadn't achieved. The smallest kitten's improvement accelerated alongside its mother's. As her milk production improved, the tiny creature began to gain weight. Its siblings, temporarily being bottle-fed, were brought back to their mother for short, supervised nursing sessions. The family's reunion, though brief, seemed to strengthen all of them. Local media coverage of their story caught the attention of a pharmaceutical company developing new treatments for feline heart conditions. They offered to provide their experimental medications free of charge, along with funding for ongoing care. This corporate support would prove crucial in the weeks ahead. Mr. Chen, the convenience store owner who had been leaving food for the cats, visited daily with home-cooked chicken broth. His quiet dedication touched the hearts of the clinic staff. He revealed that in his homeland, calico cats were considered lucky. Perhaps this mother's extraordinary fight would prove the truth of that belief. Sarah's own life had been transformed by these events. Her experiences with the mother cat had inspired her to enroll in veterinary nursing courses. The clinic offered her a part-time position, allowing her to stay involved in the cat's care while pursuing her new calling. Sometimes the most significant turning points in life come from unexpected sources. The mother cat story had another unexpected effect. It led to increased awareness of animal abandonment in the community. Local shelters reported a surge in adoptions and donations. The tragedy that had brought this little family to the bus stop was becoming a catalyst for positive change throughout the city. On the 7th day, something remarkable happened. The mother cat, still weak but improving, managed to stand on her own for the first time since her rescue. She made her way to the incubator, where her smallest kitten was resting, and gently groomed it through the small opening. The kitten's response was immediate and vigorous, a tiny but clear meow that filled the room with joy. The clinic's security cameras captured a moment that would soon go viral. In the quiet of night, the mother cat singing a soft lullaby to her kittens, her purrs synchronized with their breathing. This intimate moment of maternal love touched millions of hearts worldwide, turning their story into a symbol of hope and resilience. A genetic test revealed another surprise. The mother cat's heart condition was part of a rare hereditary pattern that researchers had been studying. Her case would contribute valuable data to feline cardiac research, potentially helping countless other cats in the future. Even in her suffering, she was helping others. The smallest kitten's recovery continued to defy medical expectations. Its survival instinct, combined with its mother's unwavering care and the advanced medical support, was creating what Dr. Chen called a miracle in progress. The kitten's fighting spirit matched its mother's, creating a powerful synergy that amazed the medical team. As the mother cat's strength returned, her personality began to shine through. Despite all she had endured, she showed nothing but trust and affection for her human caregivers. Her capacity for forgiveness and love, even after being abandoned, touched everyone who met her. She was teaching them all profound lessons about resilience and grace. The turning point was now complete. Both mother and kittens were on a path to recovery. But their story had grown far beyond just survival. They had become symbols of hope, their journey touching hearts and inspiring change in ways no one could have predicted. The next phase of their story would bring even more surprising developments. 2 weeks after Dr. Chen's arrival, the mother cat's transformation was nothing short of miraculous. Her coat had regained its luster, her eyes sparkled with renewed energy, and her purr could be heard across the recovery room. The infected wounds had healed, leaving only small scars that told the story of her incredible journey. Her heart condition, while still present, was now well managed through the combination of treatments. The smallest kitten, once barely clinging to life, had become the most active of the litter. Its survival story had earned it the nickname Miracle, and it lived up to the name every day. The bond between mother and baby remained extraordinary. They still slept nose to nose, their purrs synchronized in perfect harmony. The other kittens had also thrived, growing strong and playful under their mother's attentive care. Through diligent investigation and the power of social media, the truth about the mother cat's abandonment finally came to light. Her original owner had been an elderly woman who had passed away, and distant relatives, not knowing what to do with the pregnant cat, had simply abandoned her. This discovery led to new, local legislation about pet abandonment, ensuring some meaning came from their suffering. The clinic's waiting room had become a makeshift gallery of artwork inspired by the mother cat's story. Children sent drawings, professional artists donated paintings, and one local sculptor created a bronze statue of the mother cat protecting her kittens. These artistic tributes would eventually become part of a traveling exhibition about animal welfare, spreading their story's impact far beyond Portland. Sarah's involvement with the cat family had completely transformed her career path. The clinic had offered her a permanent position as a veterinary technician trainee, and she had already enrolled in classes at the local community college. The mother cat's influence on her life had revealed her true calling, helping animals in crisis. Her experience would prove invaluable in the years to come. The innovative treatment protocols developed for the mother cat's care had drawn attention from veterinary schools worldwide. Dr. Chen and the team published a case study that would become required reading in feline critical care courses. The mother cat's legacy would live on through the countless other animals saved by the medical knowledge gained from her case. Local schools had begun using the mother cat story in their character education programs, teaching children about resilience, courage, and unconditional love. The clinic received daily letters from young students sharing how the story had inspired them to be kinder to animals and to never give up when facing challenges. The ripple effects of their journey continued to expand. Mr. Chen's dedication to the cat family had inspired him to expand his role in animal welfare. He transformed part of his convenience store into a pet supplies pantry for struggling pet owners, helping prevent other animals from being abandoned due to financial hardship. His initiative would soon be replicated by other small businesses across the city. The mother cat story had created an unexpected bridge between human and veterinary medicine. The collaboration between the hospital's pediatric unit and the veterinary clinic led to innovations in neonatal care that benefited both species. Medical conferences began featuring sessions on cross-species critical care, sparked by this remarkable case. As the kittens grew stronger, their unique personalities emerged. The smallest one, Miracle, had inherited its mother's gentle spirit and resilience. The others, named Hope, Faith, and Grace by clinic staff, each displayed their own special traits, but all shared their mother's extraordinary capacity for love and trust despite their difficult start in life. The pharmaceutical company's involvement had grown beyond just providing medications. They had established a foundation to support innovative veterinary care for abandoned animals, ensuring that other critical cases would have access to advanced treatments. The mother cat had become the face of their initiative, her story inspiring corporate responsibility in animal welfare. News crews returned to film a follow-up story, capturing heartwarming scenes of the now healthy family playing together in their special recovery room. The mother cat, now named Phoenix for her remarkable rise from the ashes of despair, had become an internet sensation. Her story had been translated into multiple languages, touching hearts around the globe. The mother cat's case had revolutionized understanding of feline maternal behavior in critical medical situations. Her unwavering focus on her kittens, even while critically ill, and their reciprocal response to her care, provided valuable insights into the healing power of the maternal bond. Veterinary textbooks would be updated to include these new observations. As the kittens reached adoption age, the clinic was flooded with applications from people hoping to give them forever homes. However, something unexpected happened. A wealthy local family, touched by their story, offered to adopt the entire family, ensuring they would never be separated. They built a special cat sanctuary in their home, complete with medical facilities for Phoenix's ongoing care. The clinic's success with this case led to its designation as a regional center of excellence for critical feline care. Other veterinary practices began sending their most challenging cases there, and the innovative protocols developed for Phoenix became standard practice. Her struggle had paved the way for countless other animals to receive better care. The mother cat's story had another unexpected effect. It inspired changes in local animal welfare laws. The city council passed Phoenix's law, increasing penalties for animal abandonment and allocating more resources to emergency veterinary care for strays. Her legacy would protect other animals from suffering as she had. Sarah's bond with Phoenix and her kittens continued to deepen. The wealthy family who adopted them hired her as their personal veterinary nurse, allowing her to continue caring for the cats while pursuing her studies. This arrangement ensured that the incredible journey they had shared would continue into the future. Dr. Chen's decision to stay in Portland permanently transformed the local veterinary community. She established a research center focused on integrating Eastern and Western veterinary medicine, with Phoenix's case as its founding study. The mother cat's journey had not only saved her own life, but had revolutionized feline cardiac care. The bronze statue of Phoenix and her kittens was eventually placed in front of the clinic, becoming a symbol of hope for the community. People would often leave small offerings, toys, flowers, or cat treats at its base. Some said that rubbing the statue's nose brought good luck, and its surface soon gleamed from thousands of hopeful touches. The story's final chapter was perhaps its most beautiful. Phoenix, fully recovered and glowing with health, watching her kittens grow into strong, confident cats. Her gentle purr, once so faint it could barely be heard, now filled their new home with the sound of contentment. She had not only survived but had thrived, transforming countless lives through her extraordinary journey. 1 year after that fateful morning at the bus stop, Phoenix and her family had become living legends in Portland's animal welfare community. The smallest kitten, Miracle, had grown into a stunning cat whose playful energy and loving nature showed no trace of its desperate beginning. Together with its siblings, it had become an ambassador for animal rescue, their presence at charity events drawing crowds and opening hearts and wallets for other animals in need. The legacy of Phoenix's journey extended far beyond the walls of their luxurious new home. The treatment protocols developed for her case had been successfully used to save hundreds of other critically ill cats around the world. Dr. Chen's research center had become a beacon of hope in veterinary medicine, attracting talented professionals who wanted to be part of this revolutionary approach to animal care. Phoenix's story had literally changed the face of feline medicine. Sarah, now halfway through her veterinary technician program, had started a blog documenting her experiences caring for Phoenix and her family. Her writings about the profound bond between mother and kittens and how it had transformed her own life touched readers deeply. The blog had become required reading in several veterinary programs, helping future professionals understand the emotional aspects of animal care. Her journey from chance encounter to dedicated animal health care worker inspired others to follow their calling. The sight of Phoenix sunbathing in her special window seat, surrounded by her growing kittens, became a symbol of hope for everyone who knew their story. Her calm, gentle presence and unwavering love for her babies reminded all who met her that the capacity for love and forgiveness knows no bounds. Even after everything she had endured, she approached each day with trust and affection, teaching profound lessons about resilience and grace. The impact of their story continued to ripple outward. Phoenix's law had been adopted by several other cities, creating a network of enhanced protection for abandoned animals. The pharmaceutical company's foundation had expanded its reach, funding emergency veterinary care for critical cases across the country. What had begun as one cat's desperate fight for survival had grown into a movement, touching countless lives and changing the way society viewed animal welfare. Mr. Chen's Pet Supply Pantry had grown into a citywide network of support for struggling pet owners. The simple act of leaving food for an abandoned cat had evolved into a sustainable program preventing countless cases of animal abandonment. His quiet compassion, inspired by Phoenix's story, showed how one person's kindness could multiply and grow to help an entire community. Each evening, as Phoenix gathered her family close for grooming and cuddles, her gentle purr seemed to carry a message of hope and perseverance. The bronze statue outside the clinic had become a pilgrimage site for animal lovers, its worn nose a testament to the thousands who came seeking inspiration from her story. She had shown the world that even in our darkest moments, love and determination can light the way forward. The wealthy family who had adopted Phoenix and her kittens had transformed their experience into a broader mission. They established a foundation specifically focused on supporting medical care for pregnant and nursing stray animals, ensuring that other mother cats would have the help they needed. Phoenix's legacy would continue to protect and nurture vulnerable animal families for generations to come. Sometimes the most powerful stories arise from the smallest beginnings. A mother cat huddled in a bus stop, protecting her babies against all odds. Phoenix's journey reminded everyone who heard it that miracles are possible when compassion meets determination, when strangers become family, and when a community comes together to support those in need. Her story wasn't just about survival. It was about the transformative power of love in all its forms. In the end, perhaps the greatest lesson from Phoenix's story was this: every life has value, every struggle has meaning, and even in our darkest moments, hope remains. The love between a mother cat and her kittens had sparked a movement that changed countless lives, proving that the smallest acts of kindness can grow into the most powerful forces for good. Phoenix and her family had shown the world that true love knows no bounds, and that in helping others, we often find our own path to healing.